A seemingly perfect life is ripped to shreds when a trio of genius kids, living happily in a remote orphanage, learn of a rather dark truth, that they're being raised as livestock to be devoured by otherworldly entities. In a large orphanage, surrounded by open field and a forest, kids are awoken by the sound of a clock ringing and begin preparing for breakfast. A woman named Isabella, who the kids refer to as their mother, offers a small prayer, and they begin their meal. After breakfast, they go to a classroom, take a test, which the three eldest kids, Emma, Norman, and Ray, get perfect scores on. Afterward, the kids go outside and begin playing a game of tag. During the game, Emma wanders deep into the forest until she comes across a small fence. She spots Norman standing there, staring intently over at the other side. Going up to Norman, she reminds him that their mom warned them never to go near the fence or the gate out front, for their own safety. Other kids begin appearing, and some of them question why none of the kids who leave the orphanage ever write back. A little girl named Connie, who is scheduled to be picked up by her foster parents later that day, promises she'll write back to them no matter what. That night, the kids say a heartfelt goodbye to Connie as she leaves the house escorted by their mother. While the kids clean up before bed, Emma notices Connie forgot her stuffed toy, Little Bernie. Knowing how attached Connie had been to Little Bernie, Emma and Norman run out to give it back to her, after Ray points out that the lights by the gate were still on. They reach the gate where they see a small truck and begin cautiously calling out for Connie. Emma decides to leave the toy in the back of the truck in the hopes that Connie might find it. She reaches into the truck bed before dropping the toy and falling back in horror. Norman slowly looks inside to find a gruesome sight: Connie's dead body. They hear sounds nearby and quickly hide underneath the truck. They cautiously look up at two individuals conversing as they approach the vehicle, only to witness something straight out of a nightmare. Two demonic creatures pick Connie's body out the truck and deposit her into a tank. Another demon walks out with Isabella, carrying a list of the children's ages and test scores. He remarks they've been shipping a lot of average quality goods lately, but is pleased they will soon be delivering a high quality harvest of the three top scorers. Suddenly, he stops, noticing a smell. Crouching down to look beneath the truck, he finds Little Bernie. He gives it to Isabella, who stares at it with a severe look. Meanwhile, Emma and Norman desperately rush back to the house where they slowly start to come to terms with everything they just saw. Amidst their horror and despair, they decide to hatch a plan to escape with everyone. The next morning, Emma tries to act casual but can barely maintain her cool when she sees Isabella. Norman takes her aside and emphasizes the importance of acting normal, pointing out that although Isabella knows someone went to the gate, she doesn't know who. They rack their brains together and start scrutinizing clues based on their knowledge of the orphanage and what they overheard the demons say. They deduce the demons prefer children aged between 6 and 12, with older kids having higher value. 12-year-olds with the highest test scores are the most prized. Based on past events, they estimate they have about 2 months to plan their escape before the next shipment. They begin investigating their escape route and jump over the fence until they reach a tall and wide wall. Appearing impassable at first, Emma confidently declares she can climb it if they make a long enough rope. The bell rings, signaling the need for their return. They make it back in time but find that one girl is still missing. Isabella reassures the other kids and checks a small device before entering the forest. She immediately comes back carrying the missing girl, causing both Emma and Norman to realize there are tracking devices implanted in their bodies. Isabella shows this device openly as a warning to whoever left behind Little Bernie. Though they panic initially, they quickly infer the device probably only tracks their location without identifying them individually. The next day, they return to the wall carrying tablecloths with the intention of stringing them together to form a rope. They begin discussing the possibility of cluing Ray in, only for Ray to step out from the dense brush. He followed them due to their strange behavior over the past few days. They reveal the truth, which he quickly accepts, much to their surprise. However, he's shocked upon realizing their escape plan involves freeing all the kids, something he considers impossible. They argue, but after seeing Emma's stubbornness and Norman's amused resignation, he begrudgingly agrees to their unattainable goal. The bell rings again, much sooner than usual though, and the trio return to find Isabella welcoming 2 new members to the orphanage, a new infant girl named Carol, and an adult assistant, Sister Crone. Though their spirits initially drop because of Crone, they decide to use these new additions to the house as sources of information. They investigate Carol's body and discover a small bruise on the back of her ear, a sure sign of a newly implanted tracking device. That night, Isabella calls Crone to her room where she gives her a dossier containing information on all the kids. She explains the circumstance behind why she asked for Crone to be sent over and reveals that she already knows who among the kids went to the gate that night, though she doesn't disclose their names. She declares that despite knowing the secret, they're too valuable to ship before their 12th birthdays. All Crone needs to do is to help prevent their escape. After the meeting, Crone goes to her room where she happily informs a beaten-up doll that she's found the perfect opportunity. If she can figure out and capture the children in question and report Isabella's failure to HQ, she could take Isabella's place and fulfill her dream of becoming a mother. The following day, the trio gather to discuss their plan of action. Realizing it may be too risky to tamper with the tracking devices before they escape, they decide to leave it to Ray, who announces they may have an idea on how to deal with it exactly. In order to get the other children physically ready for the escape, they decide to invent elaborate games of tag, all the while coaching younger kids on how to get better at escaping capture. More than a week passes with them continuing the routine without any response from both Isabella or Crone. The two realize that Isabella may have another way of keeping a close eye on them. They conclude the likeliest answer is that one of the kids is an informant for Isabella. In order to suss out the mole as well as gain more helping hands, they decide to bring the 2 oldest remaining among the kids, Don and Gilda, into their plans. Norman asks Ray when he'll be able to deal with the transmitters and is given an estimate of 10 days. Despite the other two's apprehension, Norman decides they should escape on the day the countermeasure is ready. That night, they meet up with both Don and Gilda. They tell the two that the orphanage is run by human traffickers and Norman lies about being unsure of the children's fate after they leave the house. Seeing their sincere attitude, the two agree to believe them and help. After the meeting, Ray gets upset with Norman for not telling them the truth. He rebuts it was the easiest way to secure their assistance and that he set a trap for them by giving them both different locations for where he keeps the escape rope hidden. Now he will wait to see if anything happens, which will reveal the identity of the mole. That night, someone slips a note under Isabella's door informing her the rope is under Norman's bed. A few days later, Norman and Ray check the 2 spots and find that the location Gilda had been given has the rope, while Don's location does not. Ray hides a quick smile with this discovery when Norman turns around and tells him that he now has proof Ray had been the real traitor all along. Ray tries to play it off, but Norman informs him he laid a trap for 3 people. He gave Ray those 2 locations while telling Don and Gilda about 2 completely different spots. Now caught red-handed, Ray drops the act and congratulates Norman on outsmarting him. Questioning how long Ray has been a spy, Norman is surprised to learn he's been one for years. Wondering what he plans to do with the knowledge exactly, Norman informs him he will let Ray stay by their side and become their trump card against Isabella. Ray confesses ultimately he had offered his services to Isabella in order to ensure 2 things: his personal safety and the ability to have small items delivered if his work has produced results. Using said items, he could gain information on the outside world and gather materials for an eventual escape himself. He announces he has already figured out how to disable the transmitters and is willing to work with Norman on one condition: that he fools him into believing all the kids will escape, when in truth only the 5 eldest will. Norman begrudgingly agrees to Ray's ultimatum. The following day, the two take Emma to a secluded spot in the forest and reveal everything. Though initially shocked and uncertain about Ray's declaration, he has both changed his mind and is okay with saving everyone. Emma too decides to trust him. As they make their way back to Don and Gilda, she announces she and Gilda discovered that Isabella disappears around 8 at every night. By measuring the lengths of the different walls of the house they've determined, she goes into a hidden room which she uses to send daily reports to her bosses. Don urgently declares that they should check the room out, since it may lead to some clues about Connie's whereabouts. Ray and Norman quickly point out the dangers associated with such an attempt and ultimately decide against it. They rather ask Don to help out with the dinner arrangements before he and Gilda leave the room. Once outside, Don begins moving toward the hidden room. Gilda tries to stop him, but Don declares the trio has been acting suspiciously and are hiding things from them. Despite this risk, he enters Isabella's study with Gilda in tow, determined to find information about Connie. They enter the empty study and poke around, eventually finding a locked, hidden door. They go to the dining hall where Isabella is busy prepping dinner and manage to pickpocket her. Back in the study, they open the door to find a seemingly ordinary storage room with a hatch which leads down to a basement. They grab a lamp and slowly descend. Meanwhile, Emma takes Ray and Norman to the library where she begins opening books belonging to a person named William Minerva. She reveals this person sends hidden messages in the form of Morse code with each of his books. The trio begin decoding the messages and find it reveals the truth about the orphanage to anyone clever enough to decipher them. This gives them hope that there might be some form of humane society waiting for them outside the orphanage. Don and Gilda exit the stairs and discover a room filled with children's toys, including that of little Bernie. They also find the equipment Isabella uses to communicate with her superiors. Seeing the extent of this operation makes them realize their situation may be even more severe than they had been told. After safely leaving the hidden room, they confront the others, revealing the discovery and accuse the trio of lying. Seeing no further point in concealment, the three reveal the true purpose of the orphanage and the identity of the captors, which shakes them both. Don reacts violently to their lack of trust, and he and Gilda leave the room. Once outside, they discuss the matter and eventually cool off. Emma, Norman, and Ray follow after them, and the two groups apologize to one another. Now, with all the cards laid out on the table, the five reaffirm their conviction to escape from this hell. The next morning, they have Ray distract Isabella while the rest go into the forest and discuss the other details of the escape plan. As they walk through the trees, they're ambushed by Sister Crone, who cheerfully reveals she discovered who knew the orphanage's secret by carefully spying on them. While the children are in shock by this sudden reveal, Crone offers them an opportunity to team up together against Isabella. While the others hesitate, Norman steps up and tells Crone that they will hear her out. Crone cheerfully reveals that their goals are synergistic. The kids intend to escape, and Crone wishes to pin their breakout on Isabella in order to take her place as the orphanage's mother. To gain the kids' trust, Crone unveils a tattoo on her neck, revealing that she too had been raised in an orphanage. According to her, girls that make it to 12 are given the choice to either be eaten or become a mother themselves. Those that choose to live are implanted with a device that kills them if they ever step out of the farm. Norman decides to cooperate with her. The children go back to the house, where they convene with Ray. Norman deduces that Crone's cooperation is a way for her to gain their trust and obtain definite proof of the escape attempt. Deciding to make the most of this opportunity, Norman and Emma go to Crone's room that night. They have her show them the transmitter monitoring device and question her on whether there are humans outside the farm. She tells them that she was born in Gracefield Orphanage, same as them, but not on their Plant 3. While she's never seen the outside world, she once witnessed humans deliver equipment from the outside and interact with the demons as equals. The following morning, Isabella arrives at Crone's door with an envelope. As Crone reads the letter, Isabella congratulates her on becoming the mother of Plant 4 and bids her farewell, telling Crone to start packing and leave immediately. After her initial confusion wears off, Crone becomes angry once she realizes Isabella is getting rid of her. She heads out to the gate where an elderly woman whom she calls Grandma awaits her. Revealing everything, Crone tries to have an action taken against Isabella. But to her great surprise, all the elderly lady says in response is that the children are still under Isabella's control. So there's nothing to worry about, and that she once employed a similar tactic herself against none other than a young Isabella. Realizing she never stood a chance of overthrowing Isabella, Crone laughs. The gate closes behind her, and a demon emerges from the shadows. She makes a futile attempt to fend it off and escape, but to no avail. Memories begin to flash before her eyes. Memories of her years spent training to become a mother. All the girls she competed against and beat until she was the only candidate remaining. As the entity grabs a hold of her and stabs a white flower into her chest, she silently implores the kids in the orphanage to escape and destroy this godforsaken world. The flower blooms, turning red, and Sister Crone passes away. Back at the house, Ray again attempts to distract Isabella while Norman and Emma head out to explore beyond the walls. Ray leads Isabella up the stairs to the first floor when Isabella suddenly reveals that she got rid of Crone. Ray runs up to her room to check and finds it empty. Isabella walks up behind Ray and announces that she knew he had become a turncoat. Locking Ray in Crone's room, she uses her tracker to go after Emma and Norman. Catching up to them right in front of the wall, she tells them that they can finally talk without any pretense. She assures them she loves them with all her heart and wants only what is best for them. Emma angrily asks if Connie's death was best for her. In response, Isabella states Connie's life was filled with happiness, so she had nothing to complain about. Refusing to back down, Emma grabs Isabella in the hopes of buying Norman enough time to climb up the wall. Before Norman can move, Isabella simply takes Emma down and breaks her leg. Norman freezes in place upon witnessing this brutality. Ray, having been freed, arrives at this disturbing scene with Don and Gilda to hear Isabella make a horrible announcement. Norman is to be shipped off the next night. Picking Emma up, Isabella takes her to the orphanage's infirmary. The others sit outside the house in a state of shock, while Norman sits behind Emma, the two holding hands. As Norman goes off to get Emma a glass of water, Ray enters the room and the two decide to have Norman escape. When Norman returns, the two lay out their plan. Using the transmitter neutralizing device, they tell him to disable his tracker and pretend to escape while hiding away in the forest. Norman initially refuses, thinking that either Emma or Ray might get forced to leave in his place. But Emma proposes that Ray get severely ill or fracture one of his bones as well, it being unlikely that either one of them would be shipped off in a damaged state. Norman tearfully accepts their crazy proposal, Ray handing him the neutralizing device, something he had been working on assembling the parts of for 6 years. Astounded by Ray's long-term efforts, Norman asks Ray when he found out the truth about the house. Ray explains that he never lost the memories from his infancy. Vivid fragments of memories remain, include witnessing demons firsthand and being implanted with a tracking device. Following morning, Norman rushes off to the forest's edge and uses the rope to climb the wall. Evening rolls by, and Isabella looks around to find Norman missing. She pulls out her tracking device before looking to her side with a smile and welcomes Norman back. The kids look on in disbelief. Once the trio are in the privacy of the infirmary, Norman reveals his agonizing discovery that there was a sheer cliff on the other side of the wall. Though Emma and Ray are overcome by despair, Norman draws them a map of the entire Gracefield orphanage which he spent the whole day scouting. He illustrates a hexagonal structure of walls making up 6 areas, 5 being separate orphanages and 1 the HQ. Cliffs surround all sides, but the HQ sector has a bridge connecting to the outside world. He tells them to use this bridge to escape and gives Ray back the transmitter neutralizer, not having used it himself. Ray realizes that this was Norman's plan all along and that he had never intended to hide away. Norman declares that his escape could have caused changes in the orphanage's security, screwing up any subsequent escape attempts. The only way to ensure everyone else's survival was to sacrifice himself. Before Emma can change his mind, he interrupts her by hugging her and Ray, thanking them for making his life wonderful. Exiting the infirmary, he leaves the two staring at his back. Packing his things, he says a heartfelt goodbye to all the children in the orphanage and wishes Emma farewell. Before heading out with Isabella, the two walk to the gate where a truck awaits. Norman heads towards it, but Isabella opens the door to a nearby room and tells him to wait in there for a bit. The next morning starts quietly with all the children feeling gloomy. The atmosphere is particularly downcast because of Emma and Ray, who are completely dispirited. That night, Don and Gilda bring Emma to Ray and ask him about their next move, but Ray tells them that he's too exhausted to fight anymore. He tells them they're free to escape on their own, apologizing for not having anything left in him to give anymore. Nearly 2 months pass with both Emma and Ray still depressed, and the time for Ray to be shipped off arrives. A day before Ray's 12th birthday, Emma comes to the dining room in the middle of the night where Ray sits, humming himself a soft tune. As Emma walks up to Ray, he asks if she's actually given up, and Emma gives a cold smile in response. Explaining that the best way to avoid attention had been to do nothing at all, Emma reveals that the previous 2 months had been an act to avoid raising Isabella's suspicion. This left the other children free to act, and they spent their entire time preparing food, clothes, and equipment for escaping. With everything set, Emma proposes they escape the next evening, but Ray shoots down her plan. Unveiling a stash of fuel he'd been saving up, he explains that they should set a section of the house on fire and block the entrance of Isabella's secret room to prevent her from contacting HQ. Assuming the fire to be accidental, HQ would send people over, decreasing security at the bridge and allowing the children to escape. To ensure Isabella doesn't chase after the children, Ray unveils his crazy idea: to set himself on fire as a distraction. Proclaiming this to be his payback for the past 12 years of suffering, Ray wishes Emma farewell and lights a match. Before the match can hit the ground, however, Emma grabs it and says that she won't let him sacrifice himself. They hear a knock on the door and 2 of the younger children enter. Emma reveals she and Norman told the house a secret to a select few younger kids, and after Norman's death, they slowly brought all the other children of 6 years and above onto their side. Using meat, hair, and clothes to create the smell of a burning body, they set the dining room on fire, and Emma starts screaming Ray's name at the top of her lungs. While everyone else escapes from the fiery building, Isabella rushes over to Emma. She tries to extinguish the fire before noticing Emma has left the room. Now sensing something off, Isabella takes out her tracking device and realizes immediately what had happened. She somehow manages to salvage her communication equipment and contacts HQ, raising the alarm. Just as she begins to head off into the forest, one of the younger children, Phil, runs up to her. He brings her to a nearby spot where a bunch of other frightened children stand. Meanwhile, Emma, Ray, and the rest approach the wall, and Ray notices that all kids under 5 are missing. Emma explains that she followed Ray's advice and left the infants behind. She realized that even if she took everyone, there were 4 whole plants worth of children that were still going to be sacrificed. So she revealed all the secrets of the house to the oldest of the infants, Phil, and told him that he and the other toddlers were still too young to be harvested. Surprising everyone, Phil revealed he had noticed some of the strange things around the house over the past few months and had deduced that something was seriously wrong. He then bravely told them to leave him and the other little ones behind until they could safely return to free every kid in Grace Field. With everyone up on the wall, Emma reveals Norman told her about a spot where the cliff could potentially be crossed. She takes them there, and Dawn manages to tie a rope to a tree on the other side using a tricky practice over the previous 2 months. The kids use this rope to make a zip line, while Ray simply stares in astonishment at the younger children's bravery and level-headedness. Having once attempted to escape herself, Isabella deduces the children's thought process and climbs onto the wall. After running a fair bit, she manages to find them, though only after everyone but Emma had already crossed. Bidding Isabella farewell, Emma crosses the ravine and the children untie the zip line on their end. Both Isabella and the kids stare at each other from across the chasm, before the kids turn, then leave. As she watches them go, Isabella begins to reminisce about her own life, of her childhood crush Leslie, who was shipped off before her, of her attempt to escape Grace Field, and of her years of training before she finally became the mother of Plant 3. There she spent her days taking care of the children that were sent her way, until she heard one of the kids, an infant Ray, humming a tune. The tune that Leslie used to play for her on his guitar, the tune that she hummed to herself during pregnancy, sparking the horrible realization that Ray was her son. The young Ray asks her why she gave birth to him, and she answers that she did it to survive. In the present, Isabella finally accepts her loss, wishing the children goodbye and prays they find hope at the end of their path. Emma and the rest run as far as they can until they're greeted by the dawn of their first day of freedom.